kicked off over here so that we can actually get this going. I want to be respectful of our guest trainer's time, and you guys already know I'm thrilled to death about our guest trainer because all he has to do is log in for 10 seconds and I get excited. And so, but what I want to do right now is I want to actually, guys, introduce you to our War Games guest trainer. I want to say thanks for coming on board and spending your time with us so we can learn how to sell and we can also learn exactly what we need to do to be better as people. So I want to say, let's go ahead and get everybody started. And I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Johnny Richardson. Johnny Richardson has done many things in his life when it comes to selling. Okay, but the one thing that I truly enjoy about Johnny Richardson is that with Johnny, it's all about the prospect. It's all about making sure what they want is what actually happens. So when you look at that, there's not a lot of people that can actually be really, really good in sales and not take advantage of the client. And so when you look at that and say he's doing it with the client's best interest at heart, that's the part that always excites me, is that if you ever watch anything he puts out there, he's going to tell you flat out he's just as excited handing the keys to a new prospect that's getting their house as they are getting it. And so that's what I always laugh about. I'm like, he is genuinely excited to help somebody get it. And because he does that, it comes in behind him. And if you look at it, this man is lighting it up out in Vegas, and he is out there showing everybody what's possible. And as we were talking, just yesterday, Johnny, we were talking, it was like, I'm not even watching the boards. I'm not even watching the ranking. And all of a sudden everybody goes, dude, did you see how far you guys jumped up with all your sales and all this stuff? And he's like, do what? Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Yeah. So I want to get everything started right now. And I want to say, welcome everybody. And I just want to introduce and hand over to you, the lovely and talented, my friend, Johnny Richardson. Johnny, everybody hands up, clapping.
Rock and roll, rock and roll.
Look at that, Johnny. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at all those hands jumping around. I love it. I love it. Excited people. Well, Joe, I couldn't thank you enough for having me on. I was delighted when we had this conversation, and it goes back and forth, my friend. So I have just as much love for you, and 100%. So I'm just delighted to be here as a guest and have the privilege to speak to all your amazing War guests today. So it's super awesome. And it's funny you bring up as far as my side of it, as far as not just being a salesperson, but Karen, what's important to that client, because that is what I'm going to go over today. And that's what I'm going to discuss. So my name's Johnny Richardson. I'm out here in Las Vegas, originally a Jersey guy, and I'm privileged to be on with everybody. And I am a salesperson at heart. I have been since I opened my first lemonade stand at 8 years old. So it's definitely been ingrained into me. And throughout the years, I'll give you a story that will lead me into what I'm going to share with you today. When I was 22 years old, there was a gentleman by the name of Skip when I was in the car business. And he told me two things that resonated with me and it never left. And he says, let me tell you something, son. He says, one, if you want to make six figures being a car guy, you're going to bust your butt. And I never forgot that. And I continued busting my butt from there. I thought I already was, but I busted even harder and always did very well in the car business among other industries. And then number two is he said, seek to understand before seeking to be understood. And that's what Joe was bringing up as far as how excited I am for the client. I feel that a lot of salespeople out there, and you might be in many forms of sales. I believe everybody's in some form or some way. Either you're an accountant selling yourself to the office. Maybe you're out there like a car salesperson. Maybe you're a leader of an operation and you're teaching and you're training. Maybe you're a recruiter. Regardless, you are always in sales across the board. So what I'm getting at is when he said this, to seek to understand before seeking to be understood, I was in my early 20s. It resonated with me, but it really didn't. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, okay, I'll listen to people. I understand you, but I really didn't know how to figure it out and how to dissect it. And I believe 100%, if you understand who's in front of you, because we're selling our spouses on a daily basis, we're selling our kids on a daily basis, We're selling our clients, we're selling our team. You're selling the girl at 7-Eleven to sell you a pack of beer when you forgot your ID, whatever it might be. You're always selling out there, whatever it is. And if you can relate and understand somebody, you can have almost anything you want at the end of the day because you took the time to understand that person. That's what I teach in my operation here in Las Vegas. I am super big on understanding personalities because 80% of that in business it is getting to know that person in front of you. It's really only 20%. Almost anybody can sell a house out there. Almost anybody can do it. It's pretty simple at the end of the day. I mean, it drives me nuts where somebody walks in like, that's the bathroom. Yeah, I kind of figured that out by the toilet. It was a total giveaway. So, but if you're spending time with somebody and you're getting to know them and understand them and know what their ticks are, then you can really relate to that person. So I'm going to pull out a slide. I got a little bit more structured with this one than just speaking. So I'll have a platform so you can follow. You'll see the structure. I'll have a copy out for you. I'll send it out to Joe and you can send it to everybody and share it with your team. It's super awesome. We'll have some fun. This is going to be entertaining and go over some numbers and kind of see what it looks like when it comes time to helping somebody and assisting people because I believe there's technical people out there at the same time. So, Joe, you want to set me up with a screen share, my friend?
I just sent you the little acknowledgement there, so you should be able to share screen at the bottom.
Okay, perfect. Oh, perfect. We are good to go. All
I
right.
like to point out to everybody that Johnny Richardson had slides prepared today.
Yeah, you
That
see
right
that?
there.
That is not common for me, man. I'm stepping up in the world here.
I am so excited right now. I'm like, hey, he came in going, I'm gonna knock some socks off in war games today.
You got it. You got it. Absolutely. And I'm okay with everybody interjecting if you want to throw something in there, or I'm pretty simple and easy. You don't forget it because I know how that is sometimes, or if you hold them to then, I'm good either way for everybody as long as Joe is.
Yeah, I'm okay. So guys, interactive. If you want to interrupt, jump in.
So this program is called STAR, and when Joe had brought it to me, he heard me talk on it, and I was speaking on it many months ago when we first met, but I didn't have it put into this platform here, this slideshow, I should say. So this will help and assist everybody kind of dial in a little bit more. This is why I teach my agents. I keep it very simple. STAR, as far as there are structured people out there are technical people out there are action people, and there are relationship people. Now, it's all about identifying those people. And I'm going to go over with you a few charts that you may find yourself like, hey, that's me. That's definitely what the direction I lean on. What I found is your most impressive and some of your biggest influencers out there possess all four. They're able to maneuver themselves around all four. Now, most of us have two directions, one dominant always, but then we're also leaning towards one other side. But when you truly master it, you can master all four. So I'm going to start with the first one. These are people that are relationship people out there. It's going to be super big to them as far as identity goes, as far as involvement goes. They're really big on personal growth, harmony. These are folks that when you have them in an operation, if you're in a sales industry and you're an action driven person, you're pushing, 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 and they're just hanging around making $0, you look at them and you're like, I just love you to death, but I just really don't know what's keeping you around. And they just love loving up on people at the end of the day. They're the person that wants to give everybody the participation trophy. They're like, Ned over there, he tried really hard. He tried super hard. He told me every day he wanted this. We should give him a little something. And it's important to have those people in an operation. I kind of tease a little bit because it's not my style as much, but it's important to have them around because we need loving people in an operation. So
That's
you
you, Edward McKay. There you go.
So I would say definitely pull out some notes with it. I'm going to point out some, and depending how much time we have at the end, I'll pull out an exercise and really help you identify things. Now you have your S category. These are people that are very structured. These are people, if you have a meeting that starts at 9 and you're running late and you start at 9:05, they are huffing, their arms are crossed. They're like, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. The
Luigi, what?
So there you go. So Luigi, definitely, I could see that 100%. So it's very big as far as a sense of ownership for them. So when you're identifying them in your operation, they want that sense of ownership. They may work for you, but you want them to have some piece of ownership, that involvement where they feel like they're building something together. They want to be belonging. All right. Credentials are super big. These are folks, when they pull out a business card, you see like everything you can possibly imagine on that business card. They didn't skip anything. They didn't even skip out telling you how they got the #1 T-ball trophy back when they were 6 years old. That is on the business card. They are not skipping it. As soon as you see this business card, you know who you're dealing with. I'll tell you a funny story. When I'm trying to figure out who's in front of me and I go to their office, I'm like, I think this person's very structured, so they're very neat. So they may have like a ship or something at the side of their desk. So as they turn, I'll take the ship and move it to the other side of the desk. And as they're talking, they're going to take it and move it right back to the other side, that it's almost on autopilot. I'm like, boom, I know who you are. You're definitely structured. I found you. I knew it was you. So it's important to know that person, and using little techniques like this. You don't have to move all their stuff around, but notice these little signs that will identify those people.
What does it tell you, like when Robert K he steals the ship off the desk? What does that say about the person at the desk? I don't know.
Well, that actually brings us in next one. That's an action person. They're spontaneity. They're going for it. If they see something, they're taking it, regardless who owns it. So that's definitely going to be an action person. They're like, I don't care. It's mine now. Do what you got to do. Cops mean nothing to me.
True.
So these action people, it's going to be action now. They want a variety. Keep it fun. Keep it exciting out there. So when I'm in front of somebody that I'm training in my operation, and I know that person is a relationship person, and I put them in front of an action person, we got a problem most of the time. So I'm going to have to jump in there. I know I'm going to have to interject. I'm going to have to be side by side for that meeting, because the relationship person's going to talk to this person and be like, listen, it's going to be a lot of fun. And, I can't wait to get to know you some more. And I love your family. And the action person's like, look, I just want to get out there. I want to see some cars. I want to drive a Corvette today. I could care less what else is going on. Let's make this thing fun. And the relationship, shoot.
So question for you. So does everybody actually fit in? Because I see myself as falling in a couple of different categories. So it's not necessarily just one, just like Joe said. I'm a man of action. I see it there. Spontaneity is definitely my thing. Like I need to see it in front of me and then I go for it. But there's also
you will definitely see, if you go ahead and you're going through, you're going to see traits that you have in each one. So when I sent this out to you, just due to time, I doubt we'll be able to run through it today on a call, or else I'll keep you guys on here all day. This is my recommendations. These first 4 slides that I'm giving you, pick out of each one, or even print it out, circle what you are. You will circle areas in each one. When you circle, but you're going to see 3 in 1, 5 in 1, and then you're going to see like 80% of your items in one of them. You're going to know your prominent side. I'll tell you a story about myself. So when I first did this exercise, I kept finding between structured and action people, I was identical. I was identical down the middle, same exact numbers, because I'm very action driven. That's where you see my front side. Like right now, I'm like, let's go, let's move, check this out. It's awesome. But at the same time, I have a very structured side of me. If somebody's running late to a meeting, I am pissed. If my fiance doesn't put an appointment on the calendar like today, what is going on? Let's make sure this is on the calendar. So I find myself, and you might find yourself, that two of them run very close to each other. And it's just within your personality. I like to go out and have a good time, but then my structure side's telling me, well, it's kind of like the good angel, bad angel. Well, you know what? You should be back. You got this appointment. You got that appointment. Keep everything in line. You know what? Tonight's not the night for a late dinner. Get back, get ready. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So
Yeah. So essentially, what you're saying is you're able to realize what your strengths are, but also having the areas of improvement as well.
And that's when it comes. What do you do exactly?
So I do sales training for the auto industry.
Okay.
I do home loans
You're
as
right,
well.
Johnny,
mortgage.
not as well as me. You're right.
I know.
Yeah,
Let him
absolutely not.
finish.
Well,
Yeah.
I learned from Joe. So I do home loans, and then
Yeah.
I'm about to get to coaching as well. It's something that I've always loved. As Joe knows, I've always loved helping people. It's one of the things I loved about the car business. I was able to help my salespeople and everybody make more money, and that came with a lot of gratification for me. So it's a matter of selling myself and finding out where my characters, what my character lies, or where it lies, and what areas I can improve on. And that's one of the things I love about Joe. He always points that out to me. Joe knows 3 months ago I wasn't where I am today. I'm nowhere where I was 3 months ago.
Right. Like
So-
Michelle and I listened to him say spontaneity instead of spontaneity. Right. And we let that go. Just how nice we were.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you do have staff, right?
No, I am a one-man staff.
Okay, so do you plan on building a staff or building a team? Like, you have a lot of plates you're juggling.
So unfortunately, not fortunately, but the company I work with is national. So I work for a company. The mortgage, I have somebody I work with. So it's whenever I'm doing one, he helps me out with the other. As far as the mortgage is concerned, I just got into the life coaching aspect of it. That's something I'm hoping to build a platform on, and to be able to eventually build up to something bigger and greater.
So what I'm getting at is eventually when you get there, when I'm looking for somebody, we just hired an amazing assistant. So we have two assistants now. One of them, she's action driven. She's taking care of the paperwork. She's getting on it. My personal assistant that's here in the office on a regular basis, she is very structured. So I'm a bit structured when it comes to scheduling, getting duty done. Paperwork, I'm a mess. Forget about it. The paperwork's a nightmare. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to come close to it because I'll mess it up. So when I looked for somebody in my staff, I needed a real structured person. So my point is get back what you're saying was, it's like, all right, know what my strengths are and also what my weaknesses are. When it comes down to our weaknesses, I don't believe in stressing on them. I want to stress on my strengths. So I'm going to hire somebody, whether they're remote or whatever it might be, however it works for you, to get somebody to cover those weaknesses, because there are ends. Like my fiance, she's very relationship on the front end, action driven on the back end. So that's good. When I have issues here in the operation and I need somebody soft and crying, I'm like, I get somebody in my office crying. I'm like, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I drank a lot of water today. I run out to the hall and I call my fiance and I'm like, get down here now. This is code red. We have tears. Get down here. And I'm like, because I can't do it. I shouldn't say I can't do it, but it's just one of those things I don't handle. So
the empathetic part is mine. That's when I would start crying.
Yeah. So you really won't find me crying, but they say it's good to. So I'm actually jealous. So does that help answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, no problem at all. It's my pleasure. So then we talk about, as far as technical people, there's normally, when you're in line with, there's two strengths, as I was talking about. There's normally one you're going to, 1 to 2 you'll battle against. Me personally, this is a tough one I have as far as technical people. These are people that are very logical. All right. The accuracy is going to be super important. Okay. These are people that they show up and you're at an event and there's partying going on, the warm up session, the networking, and they come in with their arms crossed and like, can we just get through this and get started with the meeting? They're like, forget about it. They're like, I'm not in the mood for this. They're not going to show up early for Grant Cardone's 10X or anything like that. They don't want the hoopla, whatever it might be. They're there. They're about numbers. They're about facts, just learning something and get me out of here. Package it up in a bag and I'm gone. But I tell you what, one of my loan officers end up being my best friend. He's super technical, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but he ended up being a great guy once you get past that shell. So let's talk about what kind of talents each of these people have. Because if what I found is if you can pinpoint who they are, this is as far as your people and your team, as much as it is also clients, because we're all working together to come to a common goal. So now if you understand them, what their talents are, you know how to place them. I always say when it comes to communicating with somebody, I'm picturing a box and I know what box to put them in. So I'm understanding them. I'm seeking to understand before seeking to be understood. Where most people are like, that person is annoying. Well, they're actually not annoying. What it is you don't understand them. You don't understand how they tick. And if you understand structured people, stability people here, they're very providing, they're very managing, they're going to be planners, they're going to be detailed. They do run a line also with technical people because they are going to follow some of those traits. So when you're working with somebody and you take an action person, they're like, oh, let's just get it done. It'll figure itself out. And you have them paired up with a structured person. They're like, whoa, hold on. What's the steps? What are the steps? So as long as you have an understanding of that you have to tell them you're baking cookies, the sugar goes in first, flour, eggs, this and that. So when I'm working with those people, I'm constantly reiterating the words, our system. I'm saying our system does this. Our system will train you and assist you how to sell real estate from the ground up, from step 1 to step 10. Because those people there, it's super important you're explaining to them that it's very systematic. Then if you have somebody in your operation that comes to work, I think these are some of the strongest people, to be honest, because they are going to help you clean up your system if you have a rough one. If they have a passion and they want to work with you, they love it. I'll explain to them, say, this is what we have. You tell me how you feel. You tell me what you would do with it. I really want to hear how they would go about the planning. When it comes to the technical people, all right, these folks here, they're going to be strategic thinkers. All right. They're about problem solving. They're searching for a better way, might build something on the computer or whatever it might be. And they're constantly looking for a better way. Me personally, when I put something together, I'm like a picture, a video. I'm like, that looks good. Let's get it done. When you have a technical person, because I'll teach a little bit of social media with my people here in my operation, they will redo that video 500 times before it gets posted. And I'm like, no, I seen a little bit of this, and I was checking the statistics, and we are off by 1 unit in 1999. So let's go back and let's check that before we post this out. Me on the other side being action, or if you're action as well, you're like, let's go, let's get it out. If there's issues out there, we'll take care of that on the back end. Who really cares? But once again, if you understand how they are, they can also be very useful to your operation. The other part of this, besides your operation and besides clients, if you're single out there and you really understand this will actually make you a killer when it comes to being single. So whether you're out there picking up guys or picking up girls or whatever your flavor is, it's just like, and you understand somebody that's in front of you, I'm in front of a technical person, and I'm just going to be telling them about the process of us getting together, what time exactly we're going to meet, what time we're going to finish up, what the ratings are at the movies that we're going to go see. And they're just gobbling it up. Shoot, who is that? I thought I got
Don't
it.
worry about it. Frank and I got it.
Okay, perfect. All right, when it comes to an action person, these folks here are about promoting. All right, they're about storytelling. I personally, because I'm an action person, I'm all about telling a story. Whenever somebody brings a problem to me, my fiance hates it. She's like, just give me an answer. I'm going into a story because I think storytelling is one of the best ways to allow somebody to picture and put it together in their head personally. They're going to also be about tactics. They want it very entertaining at the same time. They will be involved in problem solving. Something I noticed with action people, and I'll take full accountability, they're super big complainers. And I'll tell you, it's not a complainer because they like to complain. They're more of a complainer because they think they can do it better. All right. Anything you do, they're like, well, actually, I could do it this way and it'd be better. Sometimes I find a lot of them, including myself, they see a way to do it, but they just want to do it their own way. That isn't always a good thing, but they want to do it their own way because they think they can get it done better, regardless if it's faster or not. Let me work through this. That's why you see problem solving on here. And that brings us down to relationships. Might be part of your talents as far as romance. These are going to be people skills. They're going to be very encouraging. They're folks that you're going to want to have around as far as counseling other people. They're almost, if you were a duck crossing the street and you got all your little ducks going on, you always have that one lagging behind. That relationship person is going to make sure they don't get ran over by the car. They're going to just duck right around and just get up right behind them. And they want to take care of everybody there and make sure everybody's happy and okay. You have a big meeting, it's late one night, everybody's tired, and they're coming around like, are you okay? Can I get you some water? Are you hungry? Are the kids okay? Whatever you need, which is super awesome. And they're great people to have around. Now, what I find a lot of times, I'll sit down with somebody, and the reason why we go over signs, if I'm interviewing somebody to come in our operation, I'm going to ask them a series of questions. One of those questions is going to be what kind of careers they've had in the past. They might have a transition. A lot of people that are structured folks, they've come out of law enforcement. They're military. They're very punctual, like we had said, and they get very upset at people that are not. So if I'm sitting down with somebody and I'm selling, office equipment, for example, and I'm looking them, they're pretty in shape, possibly they got a kind of rigidness to them. I'm going to ask them, well, they're like, I'm retired. I'm like, well, this guy's pretty early to be retired. Like they're going to say something like military. Okay, he's very structured. So now I'm going to know how I'm going to have to present myself. I'm not going to goof off as much. I'm not going to have as much fun. I always have some fun. And I'm really going to stay very structured. When are they going to get the supplies? When are they going to get the desks? How many days out? What exactly the costs are going to be? That is what's going to sell that person. As I stated, as far as if they hand you a business card, that's just a given. They're going to have a million things on there, from PhD to doctor to you name it. The list goes on and on. It's like their business card should be like 3 feet long. Now these folks here, I'll notice if you happen to go, who goes in houses, raise their hands as far as selling anything. Is it okay? All right.
What if they don't know I was in their house?
Be like, well, you know what? Your bedroom drapes were really nice from the front yard.
Right. So, you guys should move that lamp over so there's no glare on the window at night.
Exactly. So when you go in homes, I'm always looking for this. So doing real estate, naturally we are. So I'm looking, I'm like, I'll look in their closet, I'll see shirts color coded literally to the T. All the reds, all the greens, the blacks. I'm like, oh, I know exactly who I'm working with here. They're super OCD. They just have to have everything in its perfect spot. So I may go to a house for the very first time and I'm just getting to know that person just by walking around, seeing how they have things out. I know how to start speaking a different language to them. People that are technical, if I'm having a conversation with them and find out what they've done in the past, it's going to be your accountants, it's going to be scientists, programmers, you engineers out there. I'm going to ask them what they like to do for fun, and if they mention they like watching Jeopardy, boom, all right, you know who you're talking to. All right. If they like putting together word puzzles, if they have popular mechanics sitting there on the nightstand, I mean, there are not a whole lot of people reading popular mechanics, but your technical people absolutely love it. So normally 98% of these people do wear glasses. And if they don't, they have LASIK. So that I don't know if that's old age, Joe. Have they always been with you, or what's the story?
No, it's just recently, my brother.
Oh,
Recently.
okay. So it is age kicking in.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll see them normally wear glasses. I'll ask them, like, if it comes up in conversation, they've been wearing glasses since they're like 9 years old. So, and if I see signs of them being technical, I'm like, "Did you wear glasses?" Yeah, and they're like, "Yeah, I had LASIK. I'm blind as a bat." That's what it comes down to. So you have to ask people like Joe, or like, "Well, when did you get these? Are the eyes giving out on you, or what's the
This
story?"
popular mechanics has really small font, and that's why their eyes go out. Yeah.
Exactly, 100%. No, definitely. Now, as far as when you're speaking with relationship people and asking them, I just so you know, I lean back to houses and cars because that's just one of my biggest passions. So if I'm selling cars, what have you done in the past, or what do you do for work? They're going to be nurses. They're going to be therapists. All right, they're going to be in some sort of care where they can help and assist other people. So when I'm working with that person, and if I'm selling cars, for example, I'm going to be talking to them. I'm going to say, well, you know what? This minivan is perfect. It has the extra row. When you go on that camping trip with you and your family, it's going to support little Timmy in the back. And plan on having another little one and another baby, you're going to have the exact room you're looking for to create all those memories for you and your family. And I'll just figure that based off asking the husband or wife, could be any of them, what they do. Well, we're nurses, or we're therapists, whatever it might be. It's going to give me an immediate sign how I have to change my language. I'm not going to bring up to them, we got the 2020 Corvette mid-engine coming in, because they'll care less. It'll be like mute noise to them. Rock and roll. They're pretty awesome, Joe. I was at the car store the other day. Those things are pretty cool. You like them?
I absolutely adore that car. I'm like, yes, 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 and yes.
So signs that you're going to see with these folks, they're going to be super affectionate. They're always going to be smiling. They are the huggers in the group. You will have an event going on at the house. When the event's ending, they're not going to leave, pre-COVID, that is probably, but they're not going to leave without hugging everybody in the room first. They're going to come up, "I'm such a hugger. I'm such a hugger." And they're going to hug everybody goodbye. They're going to be super affectionate. As they're talking to you, you're going to see the kind of puppy dog eyes as you're getting into something sensitive, and you're going to hear how nice it is and how cute and how they feel for you. Super identifiable as far as these folks goes. Signs that you will see if somebody comes pulling up and you're selling any products home based, or if you're in an office and you see them pull up, they're going to drive a minivan a lot of times. You're going to see a minivan that'll pull up, or some kind of cargo van that'll I shouldn't say cargo van, but some type of vehicle that will house the whole family. It's going to be economical. It's going to make sense. It's going to probably be good on gas. And it's not going to surprise me if they have a cat. So that's pretty common with them as well. Now, I will tell you, as far as on a real estate side, you may have heard this over the last couple of years. They said, wherever you're at, inventory is super light. Always send in a letter with your offer. Has anybody ever heard that before? Yep. So they're half right. When you go through somebody that's a relationship person and you send them a letter, you will hit them so soft in the heart, they're going to roll over and they'll regardless sell the home to you even for a lesser price. Now, how I would identify that when I was walking through a house with a buyer, they would have a lot of knickknacks up. They would have the little picture from vacation 5 years ago. They would have something their little cousin Susie made them out of noodles on the desk. They would have, as far as every possible little knickknack from them traveling around the world or magnet set from places they visited, and they would just collect them and never get rid of them. Right away, then, I never met the seller of the house, but I knew who they are and what would touch their heart just off of walking through their property. Same thing goes if you're in an office setting and you're going in and you're working with your office staff and you're trying to relate to people and get to know people and meet them, and you have somebody that has a desk set up with all kinds of little troll dolls from their family, knickknacks, their little nephew won first prize in the spelling bee. They got the trophy up that's collecting a pound of dust that they'll never get rid of. Right there, it's a given. It's a relationship person. And to be super soft with that person when you speak to them. And you're going to speak more about family than going out partying at the bar the weekend before. Because they're really not going to care about that at the end of the day. When it comes to action driven people, they're normally always going to come, not always, but most of the time, they're going to come from commission based jobs. They're going to come from something where they can make a lot of money quickly or invest themselves. There is some that could come out of construction, a little bit of rough around the edges. Any dangerous line of work, this is going to be a football player. You might meet a Red Bull race car driver. If you enter their house, you may see a boar head that's mounted on a wall, which is not too common unless you're not going to see that in a relationship person. They're not going to mount up the boar or the deer that they shot because they're not out shooting deer. But if they have something that they shot over in wherever and they put up on the wall, right away who you're working with. As far as they're going to be into action movies, fast cars. Joe, for instance, like he said, he's all about the Corvette. Tell him more right away. If you met him for the very first time, you would know how to speak to Joe. You'd be talking to them about more fast cars. If you're trying to sell them something, what kind of money you're making, how exciting it is, how you're meeting all kinds of people. The opportunity is huge. That would all be music to his ears at the end of the day. And you can always tell an action person by the way they drive. So if you hop in the car with him, he probably drives pretty fast.
I will scare all of you. That's just how it works.
So when it comes to selling people on the structured side, this is what the area you're going to focus on. If I'm focusing on selling something to somebody that's very structured, I'm going to emphasize the strength of the company. So if they're buying into my product, I'm going to talk about how we were best of Las Vegas in 2016, 17, 18, 19. They're hearing what they're hearing in their subconscious is stability, stability, stability. I'm going to go into track records as far as what we did in the first year, what we did in the second year, third year, fourth year, so on and so forth. I'm also going to remind them how our systems, which I do have to put back up here, is our systems is what's going to allow them to get to their goal. It's going to allow them to get to a position to where they're going to meet their goal in a timely manner. Those are the things that they want to hear. When it comes to selling the products, they want to hear about the laws. They want to hear about rules, public policy. It's all very, if you put it in a book and have it there, whatever your business is, and say, okay, structured people, we're going to go over this, and this. It'll make you absolutely incredible. I've been in industries in the past where we had different sales guides for each of these personalities. We had, as far as all these records on standby, okay, they're a structured person. Let me put that in front of them. That's what's going to work with them. They're a relationship person. We have this sales guide. We're going to put that in front of them. It's going to talk about the charity events that we did over the last year. It's going to talk about what our vision is, doing what we're going to do with the community over the next year. It's going to talk about how we give a portion of our commissions to whatever to benefit homeless children in Las Vegas. The list goes on. And that's how you're going to relate to those people. When it comes to selling the opportunity with technical people, they're going to want to know about company assets. They're the ones you're going to pull out the graphs on. They're the ones you're going to pull out the charts on. If you pull out a chart and a graph on me, my eyes are going to start spinning, and anything could be up on that board. I'm just like, I don't know. Whatever you say, let's just roll with it. There was, to give you an idea, there was a gentleman that actually contacted me. It was over the last 48 hours. He says, I have something for your business. And what's going to happen is every person that you sell a home to, you're going to send them to a concierge service. And that concierge service is going to set them up with electric. It's going to set them up with cable TV, alarm systems, and you're going to make a commission off it. I had my credit card in my hand like this. He sold me. I had my credit card right here. He says, let me talk. Have you talked to my manager? His manager was very technical. He wanted to walk me through all this boring stuff and these charts and wanted me to fully understand it. I never bought it. Never happened. I said, I'm done. I'm like, the excitement's gone. I just, you overdid it. I'm just not feeling it anymore. And then I found out that it just wasn't as strong as what I expected. So, but I would have bought right on the first shot. And that's the thing when it comes to selling the opportunity with these folks. If you're selling a technical person, you want to be lined up and stay in that line. If you're lined up with that action person and talking about the fun and the exciting part, stay in that lane. As long as you stay in the lane with that person, I believe you're ultimately going to help them get to their goal, what's going to ultimately help you make your sale. That's ultimately going to lead to referrals, a better relationship, and they're going to leave saying, man, Joe understood me. He really listened to me. He knew what I wanted versus just telling me what he thought I should have. I believe 100%. When it comes to those technical folks, it's going to be dollar cost averaging, cost versus return, the action people, once again, making money, recognition. If they're coming into my operation, I'm going to talk about how competitive it is, how we're doing contests every single month, how you're going to get trophies like this to put up on your mantle and something to be proud of. They're going to eat that up all day long. Becoming rich, what they're worth, making money, not paying taxes depending on what you're selling them. And then that leads us into our relationship people. Once again, as I'm helping them and assisting them, it's all about helping the family, what a difference you're going to make in their life. There's a script I teach as far as in real estate is, have you considered how real estate's going to help you leverage paying for your kids' college? That's a language I would have with somebody that's a relationship person. Other conversations I'm not going to have. Saving money for kids' college, not being a burden on the family, doing something that's best for the family. I'm going to talk family the entire time. Now, if you have, who on the call has an operation where they have people they pull together, a team, whatever it might be, it doesn't matter what kind of business. How many people on the call have a somewhat of operation, 2, 3 or plus people, Joe? You, how many others? 2?
Yeah, Bill has one. McKay has a whole company.
Okay.
That he has to roll with. Luigi has a couple people that answer to him, but it's not me. Yes.
So I'm going to look at as far as how they can contribute. So when I have structured people, stability people that I'm bringing in, I'm going to put them in line with compliance. I'm going to have them help with running meetings on time. I'm running with my hair on fire. It's very important for me to start on time. But at the same time, the busier I get, if I can hire more structured people, which I have, they are going to hold everything there. Like, man, where is it? This is like, for example, like my assistant here. I don't even, I'm such a mess over here. See, I need her back over. So anyway, she runs these for me every single week. So I didn't do this before she came along. She's very structured. What do you need for the meeting? What do you need to touch base on the meeting? Where's the report card for the agents? All this stuff, I want it, but for me to sit down and spend my time with it, it's never going to happen. So she was a perfect example when she came in. She helped clean things up. The things we're doing now are just light years ahead, rather. If I have technical people, if I have any kind of product stuff that gets in, like car business, for example, and there's product training that's going out by the manufacturer, I want my technical person to go over that to where they're going to talk about horsepower, changes in the car, what size tires come with which model, because they're going to enjoy it, number one, and they're also going to get the proper information out there at the same time. Your action people, they're going to be running the meeting. I don't want a technical person running a team meeting and bringing down the mojo. I want the action person to get out there. I can tell them within 30 seconds, I need you to get out there, tell them about the contest coming up, tell them everything within 30 seconds, and they just get out and make it happen. 100%. No problem. Me personally, if somebody says, hey, you're going to speak on stage, there's about 800 people out there, we need to give you a talk. I'm like, all right, here's, give me a little bit, and I'm just going to fill in all the gaps. Boom. And I'm off to the races. Got to understand, not everybody's like that. You can't do that to a relationship person. You're going to find them in a corner, upset and crying, because it's just going to it's going to be too much pressure on them. Then your relationship people, I'm going to have them, if we're going to have any events, they're going to be greeting guests. They're going to be, if I need something done
they take up so much time. They're trying to hug everybody when they walk in.
Exactly. Exactly. If they want to get food for the event, they want to make sure everybody's belly's full. They want to make sure they're happy, they're excited, and everybody's good. That brings me to my wrap up with this. What it really comes down to, and I kind of just due to timing, I don't want to keep everyone on here for hours, is understanding who's in front of you. If you can understand who's in front of you, I picture people, I look at them, I think we judge people from a surface too much. We look at their face, we look at their clothes, their shoes, their watch, and we automatically put this image in our head, what we think they are and what they want. Instead of asking questions like this, what do you do now? What have you done in the past? What's most important to you? What's your favorite car? What do you like to drive? And you will understand what makes them tick by asking a small series of questions. And now you're going to know how to relate to that person.
If they say Prius, can you not talk to them further?
If they say Prius, they're a technical person without a doubt. So now you know you need to start talking, if you're in the car business, numbers.
Right.
Well, it's down to what were you thinking about? A newer Prius or something comparable with electric? Yes. It's probably going to be at least comparable with electric, if not another Prius. So that is going to be a technical person all day long, 100%. They're the ones first in line when the Prius first came out in, was it 2002, 2001? Right. Yep. Around there. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They're first in line. They're putting the deposits down 100%. They're the ones putting the $50 deposit down on the Tesla truck. What was that, last year or something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Was that the doctor? Was he one of them? I see.
I'll say Dr. Bill put his deposit down. We know that.
Yeah. He jumped right in as well. But no, Teslas are cool. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely cool. There's definitely light years.
And it was $100.
Yeah,
See, there you
they did
go.
want $100. Yeah. But also if you look at Tesla, right? The technical geeks were like, yes, but it was such an atrocious looking style statement that the action people were like, I'm jumping in now, right? Because that doesn't look like anything anybody else has,
Yeah,
right?
you're 100% right there. I'm with you. Definitely.
Yep.
No, 100%. Definitely. So it's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't know, bro. You did a really good job on that one.
Yeah, you liked it?
I
Yeah.
did. I mean,
Uh,
again, so out on Facebook, because I'm out there too on this one too, right? Larry said he's got hundreds of people in his organization, and the personality types are a must to know when you're communicating with others. He's an action player himself. He said he loved the training today. So, and then Prisa said, she came up and said, is it possible to be more than one type? Now, I answered back because you had answered Robert earlier, and I said, everybody has a piece from all of them, but you're going to spend more time and more of them will be in one facet of the STAR program.
Correct. Well, you're always going to have a prominent side without a doubt. Yeah, you'll have a prominent side that you're going to lead with. That's going to be your front end, but you'll have other traits of them. You know, you're 100% right. Definitely.
Yes, Pamela Aubrey said this was gold.
Okay.
So she likes that.
Perfect. I'm glad she likes
yeah, Prisa's great. She's like, could you please send me the presentation? So now we have her email. So
okay.
She's like, I want to know more. I want to know more. So
yeah, absolutely. What I'll do is I'll send you a copy of this so you have it and you can disperse it, Joe. And then if anybody ever has any questions, I'm super big on personality training and getting to know people. That's just one of my things I find super interesting. Definitely. You know, I think about it sometimes when I go to events, I ask very basic questions because I just want to know what makes people tick to get them where they're at. Because it's a difference of a couple decisions from making 50 grand a year to $1 million a year. And it's like, I want to know what's really going on inside their head and what makes them excited to get up every day. And a lot of that has to do with their personality and their habits is what it comes down to. So I'm super big on it.
So I'm going to throw one at you, Johnny, because, you know, we always end up in these social environments.
Yep.
Right? Everything's going on, even in COVID, but we always end up where there's groups of people. So I have this on a previous war games from before, but when you look at it, it's shoulder placement, right? And so what I like to do in the group activities is I sit down, I look across the way, right? So to a woman, shoulders lined up, right? So like right now on the screen, my shoulders are lined up with your shoulders.
Gotcha.
Right. When you look at if you look at just that, if you stop sharing the screen, you'll see, it'll be like, boom, look, we're all right here. Right. Joe's in front of me. But looking at it right now, women view that as trust. Okay. So when you want to say something, and I think Katie's still on here, so we can't really say it out loud, but right. You just grab Katie by the shoulders and you can say whatever it is you want to say. Right. And it comes off as truth.
Really? Okay.
As men, right? Let's be real, Johnny. You and I could jump in a car from Vegas, drive back out here to California, and never make eye contact in the car, but have a great conversation all the way here.
Yeah, you are correct.
Side by side communication is for men. We don't ever get our shoulders lined up because if you and I square up shoulders, what's going to happen? You're right. You're gonna lose. But I just wanted to put that in before you got a chance. We're fighting, right? That's what's going to happen. That's what it is. And so to women, when they posture to be honest with us, their shoulders are there with us. They lock shoulders to us. We take it as confrontational and say, why are you coming at me like that? Okay. And so in these big crowded events, what I like to do is I look across the room and I'll see Dr. Bill, you know, on the way. I won't make eye contact with him because that's frowned upon in his culture. But when you look at him, right, I will square my shoulders to somebody across the room, to another man across the room, and they will unconsciously shift their body or move and walk away.
Really?
So when I'm in groups of people, I'll always look over. So if we're sitting here, I'll be like, see Colonel over there? You see him? And you'll be like, yeah. And then I'll square my shoulders and you'll watch him twist and start to walk. And I say, I'm going to walk his butt all around this room. And I will just stay opposite lining my shoulders up and watch them walk around the room. But if you want to meet the people that are across from you, you have to be in with them. If there's a lady across the room that is going to be the one that allows you in the door to the club, right? My shoulders better be squared to hers long before I make it up in the line. You know what I mean? And then you can say something like, I'm on the list, I'm this and that, and she's already automatically more believing you than she would be if you came up and just turned your head to talk to her from the side.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's really good.
I'm just giving you something to have fun with at the pool.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Anything extra for the pool that'll give me some pointers. I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Free drinks that way too.
Yeah. I like it. Perfect. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Anybody have any questions for Johnny Richardson before we allow ourselves to jump off today and go make something? So Larry Schneider is always on the list. He wanted me to point that out to everybody, that he doesn't have to worry about it because his name is on the list. Right there. So Robert Brooker's out there in Facebook land. Robert K jumped on there first. And so did Jaime, because he can't remember War Games Group. So Johnny Richardson, I want to say
I was here.
Yeah, no, I saved it. I had to ask the link again because I saved it from
Slacker. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. He had to go on and say, Joe, what's the War Games Group link? And I was like, all you have to do is put .com on it, man. Come on. So, but
come on, man.
Come on, man.
Smart. I'm from New Mexico.
Mike,
I'm a little behind.
I don't know if you saw in the chat or not, Johnny, but Mike Giacomino confessed his love for you.
Oh, no, I did not see in the chat, but I love you too, big dog.
He was out driving truck today, but had to make sure he jumped on to represent.
There you go. I like it.
Fantastic. Okay, everybody, I want to say thank you very much, Johnny Richardson, for coming in and sharing the STAR philosophy with everybody so they can understand who they are and who their prospect is, more importantly. Okay, and everybody, thanks for spending your time out over here on the War Games Group call, and go sell something.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Johnny.
Have a great day. Thank you.